Warning, the following podcast has been classified as insanely lucrative. Listener discretion is advised.
Amazon really only uses the barcode on the FNSKU. So that's what they scan. Okay, they're not scanning the title, they're not scanning any of the other text. The barcode itself has all the information that they need.
Your attention, please. Listening to the AM/PM podcast may cause recurring revenue streams and unfair advantages over your competitors. Other side effects may include fatter wallets, fired bosses, and longer vacations. Listen at your own risk. Here's your host, seven-figure entrepreneur and online marketing madman, Manny Coates. Manny Coates.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the AM/PM podcast. My name is Manny Coates, and I will be your host. And this is the show where we discuss how to generate recurring revenue streams that come in 24 hours per day during the AM and the PM, hence the name of the show. As a matter of fact, I was just going over some dreadful tasks having to do with taxes. Always hate that stuff. And although that costs money, while I was doing that, I was making money. That's the beauty of recurring revenue. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. All right, guys, so I am here with Guy again. And Guy, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Manny.
Excellent. See any good movies lately?
Man, I've been busy working on getting stuff ready for the AM/PM podcast, so always working for the listeners, not done for movies.
I know. I hear you. So, all right, cool. So we just finished up a podcast with a Q&A. We decided we're going to do some Q&As. We kind of decided initially we were going to keep the Q&As pretty focused. We're not always going to do that. I don't think we'll always have enough questions to keep them all very focused. But this time we have a specific subject we're going to be covering. So what is the subject today?
Today we're going to go over questions related to UPC codes and FNSKU labels.
What'd you say? Did you just curse me out?
FNSKU.
Those FNSKUs, man, they're very...
I know, man.
All right. You know what? I can never say FNSKU without a little smile. I'm like, that just sounds dirty.
The same way.
And then if you try to actually, say each letter, the FNSKU, it just sounds really goofy. It's terrible. So I'm just calling it an FNSKU because that's what they are. All right. So let's start with, how many questions do we have, first of all?
3 again.
Three. All right. That's a nice number. I don't have them in front of me, so you read them off, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. And then if I skip anything, or you feel like something needs to be added, please jump in.
Absolutely. So we're gonna go ahead and start with Jack's question. It says, "Hello, my name is Jack. My questions are regarding the UPC codes. I have a UPC code that I bought, but I'm confused between this and the FNSKU. What do I actually need? My current understanding is that all products need a UPC on them, but then you have to cover it with the FNSKU sticker before you send it to Amazon, which makes no sense to me. Why put the UPC on it on the first place? I will only be selling on Amazon."
Okay, that's a good question, actually.
Yeah, interesting.
Okay, so there's a number of things we've got to go over. First of all, the UPC code is a general barcode, right? It's something that you need on your product to identify the product, and it allows you to sell it wherever you want. You could go into Target, into any kind of store, right? And it would work. Amazon has their own proprietary code, and that's their FNSKU. Sorry, I keep cracking up when I say that, but it's their FNSKU, right? So on your products, on your packages that are at Amazon, when they're fulfilling it for you, when you're doing FBA, they don't want to see that UPC. They want to see the FNSKU. So it has to be covering your UPC. Now, that said, you do not have to have a UPC code on your product. In fact, none of the products that I have that we sell through Amazon have UPC codes on them. It just has the FNSKU. The reason you need a UPC code, though, is you have to register. You got to buy a UPC code, and then you've got to register it within Amazon to actually create your listing. And once you have your listing for that product, then Amazon assigns the FNSKU to it, and then that's what you use to actually print and apply to products. Or your supplier can put it on, or you can have Amazon actually apply it on for not too much. Did we answer that question?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just easy to know. UPC codes are if you plan to sell anywhere other than Amazon, then you have to have them on the packaging. If not, you just need to have the UPC code for Amazon whenever you create the listing.
Yeah, just to create the FNSKU, you need the UPC. So
Right.
once you have that, then just kind of save that document somewhere, a little spreadsheet with all your UPCs so you have them tucked away. But the FNSKU is all you need. Also, like I said, you can apply them yourself to the package. You can have your supplier do it. I have my supplier do all my FNSKUs because I don't want Amazon to charge me, 10 times, 20 times the amount that they charge. They'll do it for me for like 2 or 3 cents. So it's the best way of doing it, I think.
Yeah. I think part of the, misinformation comes from the fact that a lot of people teach retail arbitrage. So if you're buying stuff retail and then sending them off to Amazon FBA, then yes, you have to cover the UPC code with the FNSKU. But if you're doing private label, there's no reason. There's no reason to do it.
That's a good point, right? So yeah, if you're selling someone else's product and it's got the UPC code on it, you do have to cover it. But if, as Guy just mentioned, if you're doing FBA, private label, and that's what we teach, you're actually creating your own product. You should be the only person selling this product, so you control the packaging and you would only put your FNSKU on it.
Yep.
So cool. All right, let's move on to the next question. And by the way, thanks for that question. That was a great one.
Cool. So the next one is, hello, I love your podcast, Manny. My question is in regards to my FNSKU label and my product title. I have recently changed my product title to add in some better keywords, so it no longer matches the title that's printed on the FNSKU. Do I need to throw this away and print up new ones? And this question is coming from Annie.
Annie. All right. That's a good question, too. And up until recently, I didn't actually know the answer. I was always paranoid about the labels, right? So the answer is no, you do not need to reprint any of the labels. Amazon really only uses the barcode on the FNSKU. So that's what they scan. Okay, they're not scanning the title, they're not scanning any of the other text. The barcode itself has all the information that they need. And once you have your FNSKU, it's not changing. So you're set. You can put that on your products. You can change your title. I do that all the time, and that's one of the things that I teach. As you're progressing through selling different products, and as you're adding new products, you might want to change your title a little bit because you might find some keywords that are just performing way better that you want to throw into your title. So that's going to change it up. If you've printed these FNSKUs on a bunch of product already, it's not like you got to go back and get rid of them or redo them. So don't worry about that. Even the new, how on the FNSKUs it says new or used. If you're doing private label, it should almost always be new. I don't know why you'd be selling used products, but that doesn't really matter either. And I thought I used to think it did, like they would reject the product if it didn't have that. It's not the case.
Okay. So the last question we have says, hi there, Manny. Been listening since your first episode. I've now figured out what I will be selling and have found the supplier. The supplier I will be using. I understand that Amazon needs a FNSKU and not a UPC on the packages. So I haven't bought any UPC, but I can't find where to buy an FNSKU. I want to send this to my supplier. Also, my supplier suggested I print the labels on my product packaging to save money. Would you recommend this? And this is coming from, oh my gosh, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, Singan Luru. I apologize. I just probably said that completely wrong, but it's a great question.
Yeah, it is a really good question. Okay, so I've talked about this in the past. One of the things that I do is, or I should say I don't do, I no longer print FNSKU labels. I used to, and then we would stick things on some of the products that we carried. Now everything is printed by the supplier onto the actual packaging. Okay. First of all, it's a couple things that it does. It isn't going to peel off. You're not going to lose it. It doesn't change. It's actually printed on the box, so there's never any kind of confusion of sticking the wrong label on something, right? Because with my products, the boxes are different sizes for different stuff. And when they put a particular product in a box, it's set. I like that it saves money, right? Because they're already printing the logo and stuff that I have on the box itself. So it's just one little extra section that they print. So it's perfect. So yes, to answer that part of your question, absolutely. I highly recommend printing them on the box. I think it's awesome. So that's the first part of it. The second part was, well, where do you buy your FNSKUs? Technically, you're not buying any FNSKUs, and that's probably why you're not finding it anywhere. You would buy your UPC codes, right? The UPCs you need, and we answered this in the previous question, you would use your UPC on Amazon to actually register your FNSKU to get that. And then that's how you get your FNSKU, and that's what you send over to the suppliers. You would go into your inventory, and then you would create a shipment, and you would put in the amount of product that's actually coming, and then Amazon will have a little downloadable link with all the FNSKU labels that you would send to them if you're actually having them print them and put them on your package. So hopefully that answers both your questions. Did I miss anything there, Guy?
I don't think so. I do believe that there's a minimum size for the FNSKU label. So just make sure that when you send the design, your packaging design, you are following that so that Amazon doesn't find a tiny little barcode that they might not be able to scan. That's one thing to watch for. And when it comes to the packaging, I don't necessarily agree that you have to sacrifice design for the label. You can actually put the FNSKU label within a white box, maybe at the bottom of the package, and still have a dark design on the box. So I think we're all set. Again, 3 really good questions, and keep them coming, guys.
Yeah, and let us know if you like this format. I've asked that in the previous podcast with the other questions. It keeps it short. Instead of the typical 30, 40 minute long podcast, we're able to keep these at 10 to 15 minutes. And I think that's kind of a nice amount of time, a nice number to quickly absorb it when you're taking a quick ride to work or taking the dog out for a walk or something like that. So let us know. We can always add more questions if that's what you guys want per episode, but we'd love to hear your feedback. Let us know.
And the way to let us know, again, either on our Facebook group, you can find it by going to ampmpodcast.com, and you'll see the link to the group on the right-hand side. And you can also send your questions in through the website, where you'll see a link on the top or on the right. I'm not sure where we put it right now, but send your questions in, let us know, give us your feedback, and we'll keep doing whatever you guys like.
All right, guys, thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the AM/PM podcast hosted by Manny Coates. For more information, insider tools, and to get the resources mentioned in this episode, visit ampmpodcast.com.